Yeah, good. Everybody heard that probably, I think, yeah. No, you didn't. It was about the fact that each of these concerts has more than one conductor and more than one soloist, and we're traditionally used to occupying the stage. There'll be one soloist for the evening and one conductor for the evening. And what does that do to us? Who'd like to handle that question?
Well, I thought it's a great, because actually I want to thank Peter invite me to conduct, because certainly it's very diverse. I like things to be much more diverse. That's why how we hardly to imagine somebody saying, in my whole life I only eat sushi. But that's the way, actually. If you come to, I have to say sometimes that's how Peter is changing things around here. If you go to most of subscription concert, it's pretty much like every night is spaghetti, or every night is Russian soup, or every night is sushi. Yeah? So, but now I like the way Peter is planning now. It's much more diverse. The spirits of the concerts of Toronto Symphony, certainly you can tell from the box office. Yeah, the sold out event certainly is good for all kind of people, diverse people and younger generation people. They love things be more diverse. I think two conductors, several soloists, several composers be together. I think it's really, really wonderful things. It's just like you go to a jazz band; they play all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love having the spirit of collaboration and the spirit of celebration, because it is a festival, and if a festival isn't about celebration, then what is? But Ansi, just in reference to that question, have you played the map often as a last piece on the program, or can you think about?
It is a piece that it's hard to imagine to follow that piece. But it's not a qualitative argument. It's something about the kind of piece. There are pieces we all know that composers and performers are like that. That there are pieces that you have to put at the end of a concert, or you need to put early on in a concert, because the way they shape the way you listen to music. And the map is, there's so much information in that piece that certainly you need time to just digest that. Mm-hmm. But it's this question about sharing. I find that it is really important to be reminded in concerts like this that really music is about sharing, that it's not about me. So it's really fantastic to be playing several concertos, to see several composers. We forget, because of the way the world is built nowadays. Always you need to, for billing reasons, you need to focus on something. But music isn't like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what's the history for the orchestral repertoire studies? Overture plus one concerto, intermission, symphony. That's a very standard recipe
but it's
worldwide.
Quite recent, in fact.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, if you look at programs,
years,
yeah,
right. Not much more.
If you look at programs in the time of Beethoven, endless, actually, several concerti and so on. So, but it's still, you're absolutely right. For about 100 years, that has been quite traditional, and I wouldn't say for a moment that it doesn't work quite well. I mean, if you have a wonderful combination of repertoire,
it's one way.
It's one very good way, but it shouldn't be the only way. And I think that's one of the things I try to come up with ideas. Well, all of us on the team, the artistic team, and even the players come up to me all the time and say, you know what we should do? We should try this. And I always go. Somebody came up to me, in fact, the other day when I was at Cecilia Bartoli's program, and said, I'm going to give you the name of 3 overtures by Salieri that you should really do. And I mean, I don't mind where I get the information and the ideas. They could be anywhere. But I think that's a very important thing, that our listeners have the opportunity to come and hear things in a slightly different context. And also that we just make people feel comfortable about coming to the hall. It was so formal. When I was a kid, I heard some great conductors at the proms and at the festival hall, but it was so distant. I almost felt like I could have been watching it on TV a little bit. There was no connection. And I think we live in a very different age now. And I think the internet is pushing us all to respond to everybody's appetite now to get a bit closer to everything. And I think it's a really very exciting time, and it makes it easier for us to be accessible and to give access to people to all kinds of different music. Any other, please?
My question is for Shauna and Gary. How do you think your piece is different considering you know each other? Gary, did you write for Shauna specifically? And Shauna, do you see any of Gary's personality at work?
The question was, what does Gary's piece really have to do with the men's room?
Yeah, that's right.
I always work for the personality of the soloist, or of the people that I work for. In fact, one of the great things about having been with the Toronto Symphony for many years is that I know everybody in the orchestra. So even if I'm writing a piece that's not a concerto, I'm always thinking, oh, Joaquin is going to play this, Camille is going to play this. I always know, and I've done that very deliberately in many pieces across the years. In this particular case, I think this concerto has a couple of things in it which come from my understanding of Shauna. One is the lyrical quality of her playing, and there's a lot of that in the piece. Another is I may not have written a kind of assimilation of a pop tune in a concerto for another cellist. I know that Shauna has an interest in that. So that kind of figured into it a little bit as well. I think there's a certain drama in the piece that Shauna always projects on stage.
Was there anything that Shauna, at any point, did Gary show you the score, and did you make any suggestions to do anything a different way, or did you work in that way together?
I think you.
There were a couple of things I wasn't sure were playable.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
And
back
I did
to
make
that.
some changes because it was awkward.
Couple of little things. Yeah, there were a couple of things.
And the Boeing things changed, but
yeah,
it's
but
pretty close to what I wrote.
I think so.
Yep.
Right, you just sent me the files.
Here, play this.
On my laptop.
Do you find
Downloaded
that
it?
composers don't like it when you say to them, this is a very nice piece, but if you put this section here and this section here and missed out this movement altogether, it would be a lot better? I don't know why.
Generally,
they don't seem to like that.
so
I don't know. Please, any other questions from anyone? Yeah. A satisfied audience. One thing we haven't covered, and I think we should probably start drinking that famous cocktail pretty soon, but the 12-cello piece. Just to say a few words about this idea of this 12-cello piece.
12-cello piece was written for the Berlin Philharmonic because they have 12 cello. And so after I wrote this 12-cello concerto, then I decided to cancel the orchestra, just to leave this naked 12-cello on the stage, musically. Then that's it.
Well, we're looking forward so much to everybody's participation and contribution and artistry, and I appreciate that everybody came. You just came from Vancouver. Some have come from great distances. We're delighted to welcome you, Tandon. We did your Fire concerto in September with Lang Lang, and it was extremely thrilling. And I'm so delighted to share the podium with you. And thank you also very much for being here this evening, and feel free to mingle. Thank you.
Thanks, Nadir.
Yeah.